Hello and welcome back to Snetterton for the third and final race of the weekend for the BRDC British Formula 3 Championship. We've had two cracking encounters already, one yesterday, one earlier on this morning. Two different winners, but that's in part because of the fact the second race was a reversed grid encounter. Now we're back to a more traditional grid set by the second fastest lap times from qualifying in yesterday's session. Will we see a third different winner, I wonder though. Andy McEwen here with Graham Goodwin alongside me. The grid scrolling through at the bottom of your screen. Jonathan Hoggard and Hampus Eriksson, row number one. Neil Verhagen and Kian Dewis are next, ahead of Clement Novalak and Ayrton Simmons, with Caleb Frederick, the American, and Manuel Maldonado alongside him on row four. Lucas Pettersson and Benjamin Pedersen, again, they're together, as always seems to be the case. Lucas Pettersson was our race 2 winner though from the reversed grid. Ulysse de Pauw started from the pit lane in race 1 for reasons unknown, with Nazim Azman alongside him for company hopefully on the 6th row of the grid this time. Pavan Ravishankar and Chris Wright, with Josh Mason, who was in the barriers in the previous race, and Sasakor Chimankol rounding out the 16 runners. Well, the race we saw earlier on today, Graham, was an entertaining affair, wasn't it? And Lucas Pettersson, having finished stone dead last in race 1, took the victory in race 2. This time round, he starts just outside the top 10. What do you predict for him and indeed the rest of the field in this one?
Yeah, well, good afternoon. I think we're going to see that's going to boost his confidence immeasurably. He did brilliantly well, I thought, to hold the gap, while all around him went awry. But a good win from him. Yes, indeed, it was a reverse grid race, but some quicker guys, at least in theory, behind him, and he held that. Did look as if Pedersen might actually challenge for that after making his way through to second. But Lucas Pettersson, I thought, was pretty impressive there. But now we get back to, if you like, the defined order by pace. I think we're now going to see the quality of these guys actually emerge.
Yes, no, I quite agree with you. Jonathan Hoggard on the pole position was second in the championship coming into this weekend. Jonathan had a win last time out at Alton Park. He won the first race here yesterday as well. Was 8th in race number 2, and his big championship rival at the moment, Clement Novalak, was 6th. So Clement has extended the margin slightly. It was 5 points going into the previous race. It's probably somewhere around 8 or 9 points now. We haven't yet had official confirmation of the points, but this is an opportunity for Jonathan to steal some points back, maybe, because he is on pole position for this one, and Clement is down in 5th. So that is one of the key battles we need to keep an eye out for. We've also got people like Hampus Eriksson up there on the front row of the grid, second on the grid for Hampus, looking for his first podium of the year. He was 4th yesterday and 7th in race 2, so he's actually been one of the more consistent runners so far over the 2 races. But this third race is maybe his chance to get that first podium, and who knows, maybe even the first victory of the year. So the grid lining up then, number 3 is Jonathan Hoggard, who didn't really seem to have brilliant pace in the second half of race 2. What will race 3 have in store for him? The red lights are on, and round number 6 of the BRDC British Formula 3 Championship gets underway now. Hoggard makes a good start from pole position. In fact, the top 2 or 3 rows get away fairly equally. Hoggard, will he lead into turn 1? Well, maybe not, because diving up the inside is Neil Verhagen for the race lead, and around the outside goes Hampus Eriksson. Hampus Eriksson has got the lead away. The first phase of the start was pretty even with it. Oh, that's Verhagen on the grass. He's going to be drawn the track, and bang into the side of Jonathan Hoggard and Kian Dewis as well. Hoggard and Dewis were both inside the top 4 in the championship. In fact, both inside the top 3 in the championship. They both got damage. Verhagen is out, Dewis is out. That was unfortunate, Graham.
It was. It did look as if Hoggard had got away cleanly, but was just swallowed up by the chasing field. And then that big moment, side-to-side contact, off to the inside. And then out of control on the grass, taking out the car that made the contact in the first place.
Well, Neil Verhagen, then, having made that really good start out of the race, the safety car, unsurprisingly, is being called for because there are 2 cars in a difficult position. There's probably lots of debris on the road as well, and that is your lot as far as racing is concerned for now, because the safety car has indeed been called for. Hopefully, because it's a fairly long lap here, we'll only need 1 or 2 laps behind the safety car to get this cleared up. Here's a replay, Graham.
There was the side-to-side contact. Just wonder whether or not there was actually 3-way contact there, and then swiped off effectively the front right wheel of Hoggard's car. Out of control, having been nudged into or onto the grass.
Yeah, it almost looked as though they were 3 abreast and maybe someone didn't realise they were 3 abreast. Again, I wouldn't mind seeing that again just to double check, but there's 3 drivers, so it looks as though...
That was, yes, a spirited discussion, I think it's fair to say.
Well, they were the 3 that probably triggered the contact as well, wasn't it? So someone in there will feel that perhaps they are at fault, but Verhagen, Jewis and Hoggard, all of them potential race winners, out before the second corner. Verhagen, now, he's the only one that's left the helmet on. Does that tell you that maybe he feels that he might need protection from the other 2?
Well, it's difficult to see. From the angle we got, we couldn't see who was moving on who.
Here we go.
Watch again.
It's Hoggard and Verhagen, isn't it, that touch, I think. Verhagen front left, Hoggard rear right.
Green car did not make contact,
no,
so there's the other 2, and then
bang.
Both make was made contact with. So
got a feel for Jewis there, I think, above all else.
I'm afraid so.
So somewhere we couldn't see from that angle who moved on who, but Hoggard and Verhagen made contact, that's for sure. Into the pit lane is Josh Mason. Now remember, he had that heavy shunt in race 2, so I wonder whether maybe that's a legacy of that damage. But they're the 3 drivers who will be interested spectators now for the remainder of the race. There's Josh Mason. They've got a green front wing on that car now, which I'm pretty sure was not the colour they had earlier on. There's a tyre change going on there. Is this maybe a puncture?
Possible. They seem to be complaining about something at that front right corner. And happily for him, it's a safety car. He'll be able to reach on the train. Yeah,
and it makes sense if you've got any sort of underlying issue that you think you have with the car, pit under the safety car because you get a free pit stop essentially. Better safe than sorry, rather than taking the risk.
Well, after all that shenanigans, that leaves Ericsson from Novalak, Frederick, Simmons, Maldonado, Asman, Pettersson and Peterson. That's the 2 stricken cars on the outside, wait for recovery.
Yeah, Jewis, I think it's just front wing missing, but there's definitely suspension damage to Hoggard's car, so that might impede the recovery process. We've got a glimpse there, by the way, of our race 2 winner, Lucas Pettersson. I swear that he and Benjamin Pedersen's car are tied together by a piece of string or something, because I think every single race this year, they've just been inseparable, those 2. And
people are beginning to talk.
Yes, I think they might be. And it's either that or they're just doing it to try and confuse us commentators. But Pedersen and Pettersson are clearly very evenly matched. Numbers 20 and 22. 22 being our race 2 winner from the back of the grid. This was by far, of course, his best result of the season so far.
Well, this is going to have a significant effect on the championship standings, of course. You're quite right. There were 3 drivers involved there with strong runs to the championship to this point. And it's going to be nil point, I'm afraid. A slightly worse performance in points standings than even the UK managed in Eurovision last night.
I'll have to take your word for that, I'm afraid, Graham. I had better things to be doing.
Stone cold terrible. I think
really? Right, okay. I won't ask you for a rendition of...
that would be a wise decision.
We'll see how desperate we get if we need to fill time later on. There is our race 2 winner, Lucas Pettersson, then, who is sort of climbing his way up the points table slightly now. But Graham makes the point about the championship standings. Clement Novalak points leader. Well, he's still out there. He's second place. But Jonathan Hoggard was second in the points. Kian Jewis was third. And Neil Verhagen was, I think, 5th place coming into this race, and they're all out of the equation. The man, therefore, who ought to gain out of all of this is Ayrton Simmons, who lost that 3rd position in the championship to Kian Jewis in the previous race. But Simmons has been strangely lacking something this weekend. He's running in 4th place now, but we saw in the previous race, didn't we? Everyone else who was starting at the back of the grid with him came carving their way through, and Ayrton just sort of stayed more or less where he was. He finished in 11th position, which was, not counting the non-finish in the reverse grid race at Alton Park, his worst finish of the year so far. I don't know what's going on with Ayrton, but maybe now that he's a bit closer towards the sharp end and he's just seen 3 of his biggest rivals take each other out, might that spur him on to challenge for his first podium of the weekend?
But it's possible he was carrying a problem from the race earlier today. There's one car on a flatbed, the other one on the end of a chain. Not the way you want your car delivered back to you, as the 3 drivers are still there behind the barriers, having a discussion about exactly what did happen there.
Something tells me they probably won't agree.
I'm guessing, yeah.
When there are 2 drivers involved, getting a straight answer out becomes hard enough. They're at a 3rd, and yes, it's. I'm sure the discussion will go on and on and on for a while, but it looked as though, from what we could see, it was just one of those first lap racing incidents with 3 cars all aiming for the same bit of tarmac, really.
I'm afraid so, and getting very crowded into a braking zone where clearly there's the opportunity to make or break your race.
Yes.
So we'll go around again with the safety car, burning, I'm afraid, racing time. But for obvious reasons, we'll wait for third car.
Yes, we're running out of recovery vehicles, I think, so they've had to send one with a car on it and then dispatch it again to the scene of the crime. So the safety car will more than likely have to do another lap after this. There is the
JCB again, same vehicle that's just recovered the car over the barrier.
It's quite a nifty little way of getting the cars out of the way, this though, isn't it? It speeds the whole process up nicely. So that hopefully will mean that we don't have to sit behind the safety car for much long, because no one really enjoys this.
No, of course not.
They're losing tyre temperature, they're losing pressure, and as you said, they're losing opportunities, particularly those a bit further down the order, to gain ground on the drivers that they're aiming for at the front.
Nerves are jangling, no doubt, for the cars at the head of this race.
Yeah,
opportunities there, but oh so very far away.
Fairly, well, it's Hampus Ericsson's first season in BRDC British Formula 3, so he certainly hasn't ever won a race in this championship before. I can't remember off the top of my head how many races he won in BRDC British Formula 4 last year either, so, or F4 UK as it is. So, Hampus may not have that much experience of leading races, and therefore may not have that much experience of leading safety car restarts either, and that's something he will have to do in a lap or so's time, because he will be the pace setter when we do go racing once more. Clement Novalak in second will be fairly happy, I think, with his afternoon's work so far, especially since the team will have radioed in, no doubt, that his three nearest championship rivals are all out now. And so for Clement, maybe he will be persuaded to simply settle into second place and not take too many risks, but he is a racing driver after all, and if there is half an opportunity to take a victory, he will go for it. Maldonado there in fifth place, having a strong showing as well. It's Manuel's best finish. He had a podium at Alton, he had a third place at Alton last time out. Another top five would go down very nicely for him. Right, how's this recovery operation going on down at the hairpin? Well, Kian Jewis's car
nearly done.
Yeah, I think. Well, the JCB's heading back to his post, so that tells me that they've got the three cars out of the way. We should therefore, Graham, be able to go racing this time.
Absolutely.
So back three Palmers, they come at a significantly reduced pace, and back down to the braking zone at Oggies. Still fairly overcast skies, but the conditions dry for the time being. Hopefully no rain on its way later on today.
This is why we're under the safety car. Side-to-side contact there between two of the leading runners, then unfortunately running through, literally through, and involving the third car, three leading runners out in a single incident, and a little bit of smoky action further back. So that's likely, by the way, that smoky action for the 21 car. Why Josh Mason actually came in, my guess is he's flat spotted that tyre.
Yes, I'm admiring your detective skills there, Graham. That would make perfect sense. So Jonathan Hoggard and Neil Verhagen making contact. Kian Jewis, the innocent victim in it all, unfortunately. But we get some very arty shots of the cars making their way underneath the iconic Snetterton circuit access bridge. The top two are keen to get on with this, whereas Caelan Frederick sort of dropped right back. Now, Caelan was a bit of an enigma at Alton Park. He won the reversed grid race, but races 1 and 3, he was sort of in the wars a little bit and had a 13th and a 12th place finish respectively, but he's up there in third place now, and Caelan Frederick, another of those drivers who will be looking to try and take advantage of the fact that some of the championship contenders are not going to score in this one. So the lights out on the pace car then, ready to go racing once again, with just under half of the race still to go. By the time we get to the start-finish line, there'll be about 9 minutes left on the clock.
The answer, by the way, to Hampus Ericsson's season in F4 last season was no podiums, but did have a podium in a last gasp run in this championship towards the end of the season. Right. So has scored a single podium in this championship without a full run at it. Let's see what he can do with just under 9 minutes to go as we go back to green flag running.
So he's had a podium, now he wants the win, and he's got the race lead. It's all going on behind him though. Caelan Frederick and Ayrton Simmons weaving this way and that. The same is true a little bit further back. That's Lucas Pettersson up the inside, and and he gains a position there, I think, doesn't he? Yes, that's Pavan Ravashankar losing a position, and Sasakor Chimakol's going to try and follow him past. Oh, big lock up there, almost contact. I think they're going to just about get away with it, but out on the outside line, all over the grass is Ravashankar, who loses 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 places as a result of that, as they head into Palmer's. So that was as a result of lots of jostling for position going into the first corner that didn't really resolve itself until it came out of Wilson at the next turn. So Lucas Pettersson gaining a spot though, he's into 7th position now, and losing 6 positions for some reason on that previous lap was Pedersen, wasn't it? Benjamin Pedersen, but that was behind the safety car, so I'm not entirely sure how he's lost 6 positions, unless he's pitted or possibly spun behind the pace car. Anyway, we'll figure that out as we go. The leaders heading on to the Bentley Straight, where race leader Hampus Eriksson has set the fastest first sector of anybody else. He was 4 tenths quicker than Clement Novak in the first sector alone, and look at that, Graham, he's getting away.
Absolutely, and again, clear air, get your head down. 24 from 17, half a second at the flag last time. A second position now under challenge, Novalak from Frederick.
I think that's actually Ed Simmons, isn't
Apologies.
he? Trying to get
By Simmons and Frederick, my apologies.
Yeah, they've dropped back actually from Novalak a little bit on this restart, so a few drivers a bit more awake maybe for the safety car restart than others. Through the right-hander at Coram, onto the brakes into Murray's, but overtaking is at a premium in this category. Slicks and wings, single-seater racing means there's lots of dirty air. That turbulent air means that the aerodynamic parts on your car don't work quite as well as they should do. There's Josh Mason, he's been picking his way up the field as well after that pit stop during the safety car. We had a bit of a scrappy run out of Murray's that time, and so the recovering Pavan Ravashankar is to the outside of him. Behind him is Benjamin Pedersen, the orange machine, and Ravashankar goes right round the outside. Can he keep it on the island? Just someone in front of them doesn't know. That was the 35 car, wasn't it, of Wright. Chris Wright,
the inside.
Yeah, Ravashankar's still trying to sort of go right around the outside of Josh Mason here, isn't he? He's finally got the inside line for a corner, and actually, ironically, at that corner, Mason sweeps back in front of him.
Yeah,
so
Josh Mason beginning to look a bit racy here.
Yeah.
I think he's had enough of the luck he's been dealt so far today.
Ooh.
Big lock up right ahead of him again.
Yeah, Chris Wright again, that was, who almost certainly has flat spotted a tyre. If he hadn't already, he has now. Pedersen passed Ravashankar now, so Pedersen goes into 12th position. Ravashankar is fading fast here, lost 4 positions off the restart. He's lost another couple now on this lap, so Pavan Ravashankar in the blue and green car is slipping ever further behind that group of cars. The leader, meanwhile, is Hampus Eriksson. There he is, right on cue, just under a second clear of Clement Novalak, but Clement fractionally slower than him in the first sector, fractionally quicker in the second sector. So they're sort of matching each other on this lap, aren't they?
And being slightly caught now by the 3rd and 4th place battle. They've sorted themselves out. They're finding a little bit of air, working together perhaps now to close the gap on the lead pair. So with 5.5 minutes to go, this is not done yet.
Lucas Pettersson there, we can see on screen, is up into 7th place now. You made the point after his race 2 victory that might do his confidence the world of good. Whoops, that slide won't, but he was 16th and last in yesterday's race, and here he is solidly inside the top 10. The car behind him is Sasakor Chimankol in the number 45 machine, and Sasakor racing with Hill Speed. He's the only Hill Speed car on the entry at the moment in this championship. Came into the weekend just outside, or just inside the top 10 actually, which is more or less where he ought to be once again.
5 minutes to go, and podium slots still very much up for grabs. So that safety car for recovery of the 3 cars involved start the race. Lost the 326 and the 87 in that incident.
Gap that's coming down here at the front is the gap between 2nd place Clement Novalak and 3rd place Caleb Frederick, who has just set the new fastest lap of the race, 2 tenths quicker than the car in front and a 10th quicker than the race leader even. So can Caleb Frederick, the winner of the middle race at Alton last time out, get into 2nd position? He's already on for his 2nd podium finish of the year. Through the middle sector there, it looks almost as though Novalak's getting away from him. Yes, he is. New outright fastest first sector for Clement Novalak. So he pulls out that extra 10th again, and this is typical of what we see generally in Formula 3 racing. It's all about, you see the drivers trading sector times, and you'll take a 10th here, you'll lose a 10th there, and over the course of a lap there is very little to choose between them. Absolutely,
seen that again. The fastest middle sector of the race so far goes to the 4th place car, but there's barely, what, 2 tenths between the 4 leading runners here.
Yeah, because what happens is you gain a couple of tenths on the car in front, which is great, but then you're even more in the dirty air, so then you've got even less grip, and you lose the time again, and you've always got to time it right, haven't you, to catch them at the right part of the circuit.
So there's our lead 4. Still, Hampus Eriksson leads the race. It was 1.001 seconds last time through, 0.608 this time. It's under 2 seconds between the lead four. Those gaps are compressing. New fastest lap of the race goes to Novalak, but is immediately bettered by 0.018 of a second, a 1:44.772, the fourth place car, Hans Simmons.
Yes, and of these four, the car in fourth is the fastest, the car in first is the slowest, so they are continuing together quite nicely here. 2 laps to go by my rough mathematics, so is there time for maybe one or more of these podium positions to change hands? This equivalent race at Alton Park last time out was arguably the most exciting of the three, where we had this terrific 3-way scrap for the race victory, and Jonathan Hoggard went from third to first around the outside at Knickerbrook Corner, which is something I've seen very few times in the past. He's a committed driver, is Jonathan. Sadly though, he's not a part of this battle after the incident on the first lap of the race. Right, outright fastest first sector this time for Hampus Eriksson as he starts to once again edge back away. It continues to ebb and flow.
Got his head down now. He's got just 2.5 minutes to withstand this pressure. Edges out another couple of tenths over chasing Novalak behind. Pretty static this gap, I think, now. They are struggling to close those gaps.
Yeah, it's just the middle sector, all within a tenth or so of each other, aren't they? But interestingly, Eriksson pulled out 2 tenths on Novalak in the first sector and then lost them again in the middle sector. So in the second half of the lap, that seems to be where Novalak is closing. Look at this, he's visibly closer now to the race leader as they come through to start what will be the penultimate lap of the race. And so they're going to get an extra lap in, actually, than what I thought. So 2 more laps to go. Just about time for 2 more laps anyway. And as they head down towards Rich's Corner, the gap is now down to 0.48 of a second. But once again, it's Caleb Frederick who is the quicker of the 3. So the third place man, although he's not quite as close to the top 2 as he'd like, he was fractionally quicker on that previous lap.
All in the 1:44s, 1:44.8 for our leader, 1:44.7 for the chaser, then a 1:44.6, as you're quite right, from Caleb Frederick, 1:44.8, and into the pit lane comes the 45 car.
That's Sasakor Chapman car, unfortunately, and that looked maybe like a rear left puncture, I think. The left rear tyre seems to be off the rim. Leaders down the hill into Agostini, nothing to choose between the sector times this time around for the top 3 or 4. But Clement Novalak is now in slipstreaming range. If he can maintain this sort of pressure through the next couple of corners, get a good toe down the back straight, you don't get an enormous slipstream advantage in these cars, but it will have a slight effect. And the closer he gets to Hampus Eriksson, the more chance there is that maybe Hampus will make a mistake. Hampus feeling the pressure here on the cusp of his first ever victory in the British Formula 3 Championship. That means an awful lot to a driver. This is still one of the most high-profile national single-seater championships out there in Europe, really. And so getting your first victory in this championship can do wonders for your career. That won't be lost on Hampus Eriksson, so he will be feeling the pressure. Clement will be trying to capitalise on that.
Clock ticking down, but it's going to be 2 laps to go.
Yeah, 20 seconds left, unless they throw the checker flag early, which we've seen already today. So my eyes are fixed on the starting gantry, just in case.
But they're going to make it through this time anyway.
They should do, so we should get 1 more lap in. 8.76, yeah, they're letting them race for another lap. So across the line we go, with half a second separating the top 2, and just under 4 tenths of a second covering 3rd and 4th.
It's 1.8 seconds covering that top 4. A tiny error from anybody here, and a podium place goes a-begging.
Lucas Pettersson's had a moment somewhere. He's just dropped from 7th down to 9th, I can see on the timing screen. So Ulysse Tapau and Benjamin Pedersen is back ahead of Lucas Pettersson.
He was probably getting lonely from his mate, Mr. Pedersen.
I think that's what it was, yeah. There were far too many cars between them, and so...
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're back together again now, and we'll see who comes out on top.
So are we going to get a second first-time race winner in the BRDC F3 Championship?
Yes, our 3rd different winner of the day it would be, and our 5th different winner of the season. Only Jonathan Hoggard has doubled up on victories so far, with a win in race 3 at Alton Park and race 1 here yesterday. Goes to show just how competitive a championship this is turning into this year. The BRDC British Formula 3 Championship has proven over the decades to be a real hotbed of future single-seater racing talent, and judging on how competitive this season is, I think we've got a grid full of potential future stars again.
Well, the position that looks most at risk here is 3rd. Simmons right with Kevin Frederick here.
Difficult difficult to pass though, isn't it, through this final sector? Quorum, high speed, high downforce part of the track, hard to follow each other that closely. I don't think we're going to see any changes. So Hampus Eriksson then, he's going to do it. He's going to get his first ever victory in the BRDC British Formula 3 Championship, the 5th different winner of the year. Brilliant stuff from Hampus. Clement Novalak is second, and that will mean that he takes a fairly healthy points lead into the next round now. Kenny Frederick has his third end, Simmons fourth, Manuel Maldonado is fifth, Nazim Asman comes home sixth, then Eunice DePau, Benjamin Pedersen, Lucas Pettersson and Pavan Ravashankar ought to round out the top 10. A brilliant drive that from Hampus. He was under quite a lot of pressure throughout, but once that safety car came in, he was never more than sort of 8 or 9 tenths ahead, and then that gap slowly started to creep down, but he kept his cool, didn't put a foot wrong, and a well-deserved victory.
Absolutely. Pettersson, by the way, lost even more ground right at the end there, so I think he was driving with a problem at the end of that race. It was a poor last lap, 155, dropping back to 11th. But no, what that's all about, if you've got that clear air in front of you, use it. Don't concentrate too much on your mirrors and what's happening behind you. He did that. He was on point, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And again, we asked the same question again. Is this another result that another young man sees as, you know, a boost to his confidence for what comes next?
Yeah, well, Hampus was 10th in the points going into that race, and he's just scored a nice 35 points to add to his championship haul, so he'll be solidly inside that top 10 now. And yeah, a really, really well-deserved race victory. You mentioned, by the way, Lucas Pettersson, the front wing was loose, I noticed, as he came through, so he's had contact somewhere, which possibly is why he lost the 2 places the lap before as well. So, Hampus Eriksson is your 5th different winner from the first 6 races of the season. We're in for a stellar year, I think, of competition in the BRDC British Formula 3 Championship. And come Donington Park at the end of the season, we will find out who our latest champion is to join an illustrious list of former British Formula 3 champions. It's a bit of a who's who of motor racing, isn't it, when you look back through the results from 10 or 15 or even 20 odd years ago. Will Hampus Eriksson maybe join his brother Marcus on the Formula 1 grid one day? We shall wait and see. So, Hampus Eriksson with the victory by 0.6 of a second over Clement Novalak in second, Caleb Frederick third, Ayrton Simmons fourth, and Manuel Maldonado is fifth. Nazim Asman sixth, Ulysse Powell is seventh, Benjamin Pedersen, Josh Mason gets a 9th place finish, not bad after his non-finish earlier on, and Chris Wright, with a flat spot and all, gets 10th position. 11th place for the fading Lucas Pettersson. Pavan Ravashankar is 12th, Sasakon Chimankol 13th, and then the 3 high-profile non-finishers. Jonathan Hoggard was second in the championship. He probably still will be second in the championship, because also out of the race were Neil Verhagen and Kian Jewis, the 2 who were most likely to take points out of him in that race. So in a way for Jonathan, he sort of got away with that, but they will all have lost a lot of ground to Clement Novalak in second position. There's Caleb Frederick clambering out of his car then. Caleb who had that 3rd position there, his 2nd podium finish of the season. Now, where was Kalen in the points going into that race? 8th on 52 points, so he was just over 50 points off the championship lead, but again, he will have closed in on a top 5 position now, I reckon.
Back into a little bit of form after, well, a bit of misfortune leading into this one.
Yeah, there's never been any doubting his pace, really, but races 1 and 3 at Alton Park just didn't really go his way, and once you get involved in the midfield battles, it's hard to make progress. It was a lively start to our final Formula 3 race of the day. 3 abreast for the race lead into turn 1. Hampus Eriksson got through in the lead, and how fortunate that was, because behind him there was contact between Jonathan Hoggard and Neil Verhagen. As Verhagen speared back across the track, he hit Hoggard again, and the luckless Kian Jewis, all 3 of them were out and left to spend the rest of the race discussing who was to blame. Into the pit lane came Josh Mason with a flat-spotted tyre. He rejoined and would later salvage a top 10 finish. The safety car was out for almost half of the race, and when it came back into the pit lane, it was a 4-way fight for the race lead, with Hampus Eriksson, Clement Novalak and Caleb Frederick coming out as your podium finishers. Hampus Eriksson, his first ever victory in the championship. 3 great races here at Snetterton. The championship continues to twist and turn. Join us next time.